Let's let her in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go.
Hi,
The
how are
white-haired Mickey
you?
Mouse. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So my question is, mm, I didn't really
Mm,
want to ask, but I feel like I have to,
good.
because it's uncomfortable. But like, so with COVID and all, like I've been seeing friends like in person, but in terms of like meeting new people, it's been all virtual, obviously. And I literally hate dating apps. Like I really like I hate them. And but I don't know, like I feel like I should be on them because like I don't know how else to meet people, but like I really don't want to be on them.
Yeah. So, you know what? This is a really good lesson for everyone because it really involves getting into the habit of taking inventory of your own values. And so what happens is we become predisposed and resistant to things as circumstances change that may not be applicable anymore. So if you have options and opportunities to meet people in person and you're young and you want to date, that may, dating apps may be something that you have an adverse feeling towards according to your values. But like I tell you, when we take inventory of our values every day, not being afraid of being of a hypocrite that circumstances change outside of us, which also may change inside of us. So, what I want you to do is take inventory of your values as they stand today, your personal values of where and how important it is to meet people, your experiential values of how much you want to spend time with people, and then your giving and receiving values. And for all of us, it's changed exponentially over the last 6 months. And those people that need to meet people, and it's a huge value of theirs, things like dating apps and other opportunities to meet people virtually. I will tell you, everyone, I'm the biggest hypocrite ever because I have a friend and for years he's been trying to make me do Zoom meetings and he always wants to have Zoom calls. And I was literally like telling Justin and Mikey, just 9 months ago, why does he always want to have a Zoom call? I can't do anything if I'm on a Zoom call. I want to be able to just do a speaker phone call and do my work while I talk to you. Now my values have changed. I am a hypocrite. And just like you probably hated dating apps, I hated Zoom. And now I love Zoom and I utilize it as a huge part of my life. So I want you to take inventory of values. Don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. Everybody, no matter what you used to hate, and see now you can hate broccoli and learn to love it. You can hate Zoom and learn to love it. And you can hate dating apps and learn to love it. Does that sound fair?
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Just
work
take off
on
your
it.
earphones if you go on a date, okay?
Sure.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day.
You too. All right, Mr. Frank, welcome. I just got a phone call I would have picked up, but I was on an interview with Danica Patrick, my fave with the Danica
No,
Rose.
oh, that's no problem. I don't mind getting rejected for data compactor. That's why I know.
Gave me
That's
a signed bottle of Danica. I had to thank her.
nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. No problem at all. I was just calling to check in with you for tomorrow. You mentioned to check in with you, so I think we're all
Good.
good.
Yeah, this
We're
is
all
cool.
good.
So we're all set. I gotta be there a little early to get tested to go in there, and I'm prepared as I was for the phone call this weekend. Anything else I need to know?
No, I think we're good. That's awesme. Maybe I could get a question while I have you. I may as well take
Yeah,
advantage of this time. Awesome.
please.
I've heard you say on one of your podcasts before that at one point you were focused on becoming a billionaire, and you tried to do the math work backwards, and you couldn't do it. And you said you focused on making a billion people happy. I'm just curious. So did you give up on that, becoming a billionaire? Is just not as important now, or what's your thinking?
No, believe it or not, that I figured out how, and the way that I'm going to make over $1 billion is to help over 1 billion people. That if I'm truly going to meet my mission of impacting over 1 billion people on earth to be happy, that abundance, that collective consciousness would almost guarantee the same abundance in a monetary sense. So the two currencies, the currency of money, object of energy we put into the flow to get what we want, and the object of faith, the same currency, the object of energy we put into flow. So the irony of my shifting my perspective of making over $1 billion to empowering over 1 billion people actually mutually satisfied each of the quests that I'm on, and gave me the point of reference to connect the dots backwards, because it became very easy for me to believe, conceive, and achieve making over $1 billion, because I know that the world of more than enough and the abundance created will create opportunities and a brand and a community big enough for me to monetize. And guess what? All of those billions of dollars that I'm going to make are going to come through me for others, with gratitude, the same way that I have shifted that paradigm. I cannot be poor enough to make anyone rich, but I will be rich enough to make everybody rich.
How specific do you get with that plan, on how much do you just allow faith that if I do this from an abundant perspective, it will come, and I don't know what that's going to look like?
No, very specific. So I am, very specific on where I am, using the 5 daily practices that I have, from taking inventory of my values, asking for what I want, being a student, more interested than interesting, and not only my calendar, but everything I can to create the coincidences I want, doing things now to be efficient, effective, and statistically successful with my time, and continually to practice ending fear. So the plan I have is that I'm very happy where I'm at. But I'm angling towards that over billions of dollars. And the only place that faith falls in is I have faith beyond the pragmatic world in the strategies and the disciplines that I'm effectuating, utilizing my capabilities, my skills, my knowledge of what and who, and of course, my desire to have that faith that I'm going to end up somewhere bigger and better than I can even imagine. And that adaptability quotient, that adaptability intelligence, is what I'm going to utilize in order to achieve what I can conceive.
Awesome. Final quick thing on pitch competitions. You have more pitch competitions coming up. I imagine if you have ideas about different but related things to pitch, is it a good idea to continue just to practice them and enter those competitions and do it multiple times?
I'm on my show. Look, everybody, if my group is not applying, you're making a big mistake. We got over $50,000 of cash and prizes, 12 episodes. You're going to get notoriety, awareness. It's on Bloomberg. It's on every airport, and over 1 million hotel rooms. It's on it's on Amazon starting in January, 12 episodes. I obviously get to choose who's coming on my show. I obviously am very biased against and with those people that are in my group and are my collective consciousness. So all of you listening, if you have not applied, I don't care if you pitch literally eating broccoli. It doesn't have to be a business. I'm going to critique people on how to pitch. So, you try. I got to practice a pitch tonight because my daughter flooded the house and left the sink on. I got a picture on being responsible, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead, Ben. You better apply, okay?
Okay, awesome. Where do you apply? Is it on your?
Yeah, it's well, you can always email me, but I think it's why don't you post it up there, Justin, in the comments? We'll give the link to everyone. I think it's something like dmeltzer/pitch, www.dmeltzer.com/pitch. Mikey's saying yes. Awesome. Yeah, so www.dmeltzer.com/pitch. And if you guys get lost, just email me, all right?
Awesome.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Fun.
We're on it. We're on it. We're going to go.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
All right. Well, good start. 2 for 2. Here we go. What do you say, Joe?
Hey, David. How you doing?
Terrific. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is not more of a question, just kind of more of an announcement from the teachings that you've been giving me and the group about not wasting time, taking advantage of these gifts that sometimes just kind of fall in your lap and you don't realize that they're a gift until it just kind of hits you. So I'll try to make it brief. Since COVID started, my mother-in-law has been living with us since, and actually she was living with us prior, healing from a partial hip surgery. And then COVID broke out, so she's been with us ever since, and she's become quite dependent on us now. So she'll be with us even when COVID is over. So, but since then, we've been working on it. It's been an adjustment. I'm working from home, and I take care of her during the day and all that. It's an adjustment, but haven't been thinking of it as a gift. Just kind of like, well, now I got someone else to take care of. But I'm changing that. I have to change because I said she's 92. She's fairly healthy, but she has stories, and no one knows her stories. So I started writing her stories. I started taking information down. I started talking with her in conversations, and it's amazing. She has a lot of stories in her background. She's Japanese descent. So my kids are half Japanese and half Mexican. And there's a lot of history and a lot of relatives that we don't know about, and just her struggle to be where she's at. So I've taken it upon myself to write her story down, save it for us, save it for anybody, and perhaps I'll go further with that too. Maybe perhaps something else that I'm writing, But I'm just really happy about that.
That's beautiful. I want to reiterate to everyone, it's a very simple choice in life. You either get to do things or you got to do them, right?
Yep.
And so a
Yep.
lot of times we have to take care of our 92-year-old aunt or mother-in-law or whoever, or sometimes we get to. And I still make sure I remind myself that I'm blessed and I get to do everything that I do. If I didn't want to do it, I won't do it. And so once I decide to do it, I get to do it. I don't got to do it. And I'm glad you get to do this. Make sure you notate lessons as best you can from the stories. I found it's a good practice. I do case histories on my mentors the same way, and I found it to be a great practice because I'll forget the lesson. So as I'm listening, I'll jot the lesson next down to the story when I'm interviewing them or writing the stories down, because those lessons are what people will touch them emotionally, and the stories is what will connect the emotions. So I'm so pleased that you came on and that you get to do this. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for sharing, Jared. I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for coming on. Perfect. That's what this is about, a whole community of accelerating, growing, and learning. Christina, you're next, my dear. How are you?
Hi. I was on mute because my dog barks.
That's
Hello.
all right. You let dogs and cats into this show. All
right. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
So question for you. Practice ending fear. 3 wise words you wrote to me, which I appreciate. Thank you. And I'm shaking right now. It was so impactful to me. And when you were just talking about the pitch competition, that definitely rose a lot of anxiety and fear. And I haven't applied because I'm just straight up scared, honestly. And my question for you was how in the world do you practice ending fear? And so I thought it was an appropriate question for how I'm feeling right this second. So that's my question.
So you reached point number 1 is identify what we're afraid of. There's 2 types of fear: primary fear, which I call the Freudian fear, right? The 4 F's that are involved with the Freudian fears. And then there's the secondary fear. And the secondary fears are the need to be offended, the need to be right, the need to be separate, the need to feel inferior or superior, not worthy or guilty or resentful, angry, anxious, frustrated, worried, scared. Those are just ego-based consciousness. So how do we practice that? 1, let's start identify it and then ask ourselves, stop. Just stop for 1 second. I'm not going to accelerate into the fear, the worry, the guilt, the resentment, or offense. I'm not going to make more resistance into something that shouldn't be there. I'm going to breathe instead. So I stop, I drop, I breathe, and I think to myself, why do I feel this way? Am I hungry? Right? For me, if I get angry, there's 99% chance it's anger. So I immediately ask myself, why am I so mad? This is like a little thing. So what? My daughter left the sink on and flooded my house. I should feel blessed that I'm capable of taking care of it, that I have a house, right? All these things. And I breathe. I say, why? And so breathing puts us back into central. Then I can then focus in on my values for the day. And I get into the trajectory that I want towards what I want for the day, my what. And so I want you to be a ferocious Buddha. I want you to stop, drop, and roll. When you get afraid, anxious, guilty, frustrated, all of us, just remember our mind, our body, and our soul are on fire. When you get on fire, stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and breathe. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And then roll in a better direction and keep on rolling with the faith that you're going to end up somewhere even better than that. So I want you to apply. I want you to face it. I want you to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Awesome. These are good ones today. We're on the nugget train right here, Justin. These are all goldies. Perfect. All right. There she is, my travel assistant. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm going on my very first trip this week, so I'm doing well, and I'm officiating an Indian wedding, so I got to jaunt from St. Louis to New York to New Orleans, home in the next 6 days. So I'm thinking of you.
You do everything, honestly.
I try. What life's about. Try everything.
Absolutely. Well, my question for you is, before you became the David Meltzer that you are today and your business is what it is today, if you can think back at your hard times or those times that you were struggling, what were some of the things that you needed to learn to let go and that you did let go that allowed you the freedom and that led you to what you are now in business and in your personal life? Can you share a few of those?
Yeah, three things particularly, and I've labeled them ego because they're directly related to my ego. And the first was employment status. The first E was for employment status. I was always so concerned about what people thought about what I did. The job title, the company I ran, how successful it was all about employment status. The second thing was what I was going to get. So meaning how much did I make? Money was defining me. So my titles and my position and my company success define me. The amount that I was going to get, the EG, what was in it for me, this for me attitude, buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't like. And then most importantly, that's changed the most is the O, what other people think. I was a pleaser. I wanted everyone to love me. I would lie, cheat, manipulate, oversell, back end sell so people would love me, like me. I didn't want any conflict. And I was too afraid of people laughing at me, scoffing at me, making fun of me. I always wanted them to applaud me, even if it wasn't true. Now I rejoice in the fact that some people will laugh at me, make fun of me, scoff at me, and eventually I'll earn an applause when the time is right and the frequency is aligned. So for me, EGO, I don't define myself by my employment status or what I'm achieving in the business sense. Two, I don't care what I get for me. It comes through me. And then finally, I want to understand what other people think, but I don't care. I want to understand and allow it to fall through my hand like a handful of sand and vote for what I want in my life. So EGO, those are the three things that have changed the most on how I define myself. Can't find outside of you what you can't find inside.
And was there something specific that you did or helped you make that transition?
Yeah, come up with the philosophy of practice. Once I quit attaching my emotions to some outcome and get so disappointed that things didn't change overnight, that my business deal didn't close overnight, everything always took. Once I got the perspective to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential and just practice things, it allowed me, just like being at the golf range, to hit a bad shot. Right? It wasn't the end of the world. I was more into the journey of improving and finding my higher self than anything else. And I just detached my emotions from that outcome and decided I'm going to practice my whole life. I'm going to practice ending fear, practice being a student of my calendar, practice being more efficient, practice being kind, practice being humble, practice, practice, practice. And it changed my life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you. Take care. Good to see you.
You too. Bye-bye. Have fun at the wedding.
Oh, I always have fun or I won't do it. I get to do it. Thank you. I even got my pajamas. I had to wear the Indian pajamas. Oh, all right. Udi.
Yes, perfect.
You're one letter short of one of my favorite movies.
Oh, which one?
Rudy.
I'm sorry.
Rudy.
I'm going to see that tonight before I sleep, 100%.
Have you seen it?
I have not, but tonight I will. Just because
please. And then you email me what you think of Rudy. Everybody that's a little bit older on here, if anyone's closer to my age, I had a kid who wanted to work for me so bad. He's like, what do I need to do? I go, you know what you need to do? You need an attitude adjustment. You need to treat this job like Rudy. You need to want this more than anything. And he looks at me, he goes, who's Rudy? I'm like, F you, get out of my office. He just made me feel like an old has-been talking about old movies. All right, go ahead, Udi. You're fine.
Yeah, so I just had a question based off your experience, based on what you've seen, based on where you've been, based off what all you've been through. Let's say someone's in a rut caused by, let's say, either loss or failure, and they do know that they want something. They do know they still have their goal, but how do they just climb out of that rut?
So I see the rut or feeling stuck like a kid's tennis shoe. And I use this analogy. My son, I bought a new pair of shoes for him, and like 3 weeks later, he's telling me he's stuck in his shoe. He's like, Dad, I can't get this thing on. It's too tight. I'm stuck. I was like, what are you talking about? I just bought those for you. You haven't changed in 3 weeks. And sure enough, my senses, my way I see things, hear things, smell things, touch things, and taste things, didn't recognize that he was growing. And my memory could not determine exactly how big his shoe size was or his foot was to determine he was stuck. He was in a rut, a foot rut. And what I said is, what a great thing. This is why people quit, because they get stuck and they get in a rut, and they don't quit because they're in the rut. They quit because they don't see the exponential growth and acceleration that is occurring. They should be getting excited about being stuck, because if you weren't growing, if you weren't accelerating, you would feel no pressure of being stuck. You would be in a comfort zone. You would feel comfortable in the same size shoe. You're growing out of your shoes, bro. It's time to lean in and grow more and bust out of those. You should be getting excited. You should be getting excited. Lean in. Really rely on building those capabilities, your skill set, develop more of them, your knowledge of who and what. And of course, increase the desire. Get encouraged by, it's my 25 no rule. You're getting no's. You think those are failures? No, you're just that much closer to a yes. I always tell myself I'm 25 no's from getting what I want. I'm the only guy that gets excited after 15 girls said no to me. My friends are at the bar going, dude, what are you so excited about? I'm like, only 10 away from getting the date of my life. This is going to be amazing. Do the same thing with your life, and you'll find the wife too. All right?
All right, perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much, man.
Udi, thank you for joining me.
I'll send you that email about the review tonight.
You'll love the movie, I promise.
All right, let's see.
All right, I promise. I guarantee. Angelo Pizzo, David Anspaugh, they've done 2 movies with them. I'm on my second one, Horses of Fire, my faves. They also did Hoosiers, but I'm sure you don't know that movie either. Hey, Michael.
What's up, Dave? I know, Rudy, because it's all about the Jersey scene, at the end.
Exactly.
So, I have a question for you. Over the past few months or so, I've been kind of running multiple projects, multiple businesses. And, I try to focus on just one, but I started to realize it's really not in my nature almost. It feels kind of against my nature to just try to be that person. And, I know a lot of whatever, people that are giving advice or, talks say to try to focus and, narrow in. But like I said, it's really just against kind of what I'm feeling inside. It feels so much more natural to just be kind of moving and flowing with multiple things happening like that. So I just wanted to see what maybe some of your advice was on that.
Yeah. So for me, I like prioritization, but I like multiplication as well. So prioritization with multiplication allows us to do more than one thing effectively. And so what do I mean by that? Remember, the mind can only focus in on one thing. So the muscle that you want to practice, like I do, to have multiplication, right, with that, is that I focus on one thing and practice refocusing. So the human mind can only focus on one thing at a time, but it appears that I got so much going on and people are like, how the heck do you keep track of all that? Because I am a student and I am in the practice of refocusing. The human mind works so fast that in a blink of an instant millisecond, you can focus on this, 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 focus on this. And you need, in order to be effectual with that, is to prioritize and multiply. And the only muscle that we can use to prioritize what we have going on and multiply our effect is to practice refocusing. So just be cognizant and aware that I can only focus on one thing. And what I'm really doing is refocusing. So let's see how quickly I can refocus on the highest priority I have. So if something comes up and I can do it now, I do it, boom, I refocus right back onto the priority that I have. There is only activity in your day. Activity you get paid for, activity you don't get paid for. I like as much activity as I can. I'm a multiplier, but I have to be a prioritizer to be a multiplier, and I have to practice the muscle of refocusing. That's what you need to do.
Do you feel like collaborating and having good leadership, at the different companies plays a part in that as well?
Absolutely. Good leadership, good mentorship. Remember, good leaders are intelligent followers. And so you yourself, to be a good leader, have to be an intelligent follower, and those around you that you collaborate. Or I love the word command. Command means to work with. So like the 10 commandments, or you command the universe, means to work with. It's actually another word for collaborating, but it's more forceful in its intention. So I command everyone that I'm with and have that collaboration with a little bit more intent. And yes, look for those leaders, look for mentors, and look for intelligent followers.
Thanks, man. Have a great week.
One more thing. Where'd you get that shirt? I love that shirt.
This shirt? Target.
Oh, sweet. I figured. That's my main store.
Yeah,
All right,
man. Go to Target, brother.
I got 55 Thunderbird. I'm going to Target. Look at Justin's thumbs up. We got all these at Target. All right, cool. I like that one. All
Yeah,
right.
man. Have a good one, Dave.
You got it. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Here is the delightful Amanda. Come on in.
Hello. Don't mind me. I'm
Hello,
sitting in my
mobile
car.
community member.
What's
You're,
that?
You're one of many. We're used to it. You're one of many that comes from the car. Don't worry.
Gotcha. So I guess this is my first time on with you in this setting. My first question would be, what kind of questions can I ask myself to truly discover my why, to have the drive, because I find myself self-sabotaging and not doing the action steps I know I need to do. So how can I, or what questions can I ask myself to find that why that's going to be big enough for me to continue to do those steps that I know need to happen?
So first, start with those inventory of values. So ask yourself, what are my personal values? What are my non-negotiables? What are my experiential values? Each day, ask yourself, what are my giving values? What productivity value do I want to provide? And what are my receiving values? What do I want? Don't forget about the why, right? Ask yourself, what do I want today? Don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. And then ask yourself, who has it, right? Who has it? In other words, I want to go to this Disneyland. All right, who's at Disneyland? Because the easiest way to get to Disneyland is ask someone how to get there. So I want to figure out who's there already. And then after you know what you want and who has what you want, and you can ask those people, do you know anyone that can help me get to there? Then you ask yourself, what do I like about it? What don't I like about it? How is it synergistic, aligned, supplementary to those values that I took today? And then tomorrow, how am I remaining aligned or synergistic or supplementary to those values of what I want, what I like about it, what I don't like about it? And pretty soon, when you get great clarity, balance, and focus on your what, something called confidence happens. And when confidence happens, your why exudes itself. It just comes into appearance and awareness of what you want. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have purpose. I have passion. But it didn't come from searching for your why. It came from extracting the what from the values every day, from who is where you want to be and asking them how to get there, and effectuating what you like and what you don't like every single day, and not being afraid to change your mind. Just like a pair of tennis shoes, right? Trust me, if you're changing, that's a blessing. I don't want you to be the same person you were when you were 18. I want
Amen.
you to, and I don't want to be him either. But some people, they're so afraid, to stand up for themselves when people judge them for the snapshot that they were when they were 18, or they self-sabotage themselves by not liberating themselves and say, gosh, I've learned so much. The greatest tax you can pay is the dummy tax. That's why I do these things. I want to pay the dummy tax for all my favorite people that are here. You can't pay your state or income or your federal tax, but I can pay your dummy tax. It'll save you a lot more than those taxes. Do the same thing for yourself. Clarity, balance, and focus, knowing those values, aligning them synergistically and supplementary to the what. Ask yourself what I like and don't like about it when you receive help for getting there. And I'm one of those people that'll help you get there, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. Cars are okay anytime. Awesome. This is a great group. I'm just telling you. Thank you, everyone. Charlie from the shadows. What's going on?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. This is my first time, actually. I just joined your group.
Cool.
But my question is that, how do I bridge between the gap of just like constantly acquiring knowledge and actually using those knowledge to take more action? I feel like right now I'm struggling between, I feel like right now I'm just like merely just acquiring knowledge and not taking enough action.
Oh my! I felt that way for 3 years of law school. That's what going to law school is like. You just acquire knowledge, and you're like, I'm not using any of this. What I would do is to pick 3 things that you're learning, that you're acquiring, and pick your favorite, prioritize them by your own values, and do something with it. So if you're, learning Adobe, or you're learning how to code, or, go ahead and pick 3 things and do something with it, and lower the bar. They don't have to be grand things. If you're learning how to write a novel, don't write a 1,800-page novel. See if you can write a 3-page novel. But go ahead, lower the bar, pick 3 things and do something with it. 3 things that you've acquired and do something with it. And it doesn't have to be what everybody else expects you to do, but you're going to start being able to put into practice more knowledge than you even believe. It's kind of like the movie Karate. I'm going to kill myself for being old. Karate Kid. They probably don't know Karate Kid because there's been 7 of them. But Mr. Miyagi, right? All he had Daniel-san do was acquire knowledge, wax on, wax off, and he got more and more frustrated. You're like Daniel-san, right? You're frustrated. I've acquired all this knowledge. What the heck am I waxing on and waxing up and painting on and painting off for? Go out there. Let's get a fight going. Use the wax on, wax off. Start giving yourself a little bit more inspiration by putting it into action. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, David.
You got it. Thanks for joining us,
Thank
Charlie.
you.
Welcome. Right on.
Thank you.
All right. Who is next? There he is. Great angle on Brad. How are you?
Doing all right about myself.
Very well. What do you got for me? You
Uh,
lost
just
200 pounds,
still-
by the way, by changing your camera angle.
Do what?
You just lost 200 pounds by changing your camera angle.
So my question is difference, like when I go from, practice, then performing, where, I'm judged by a number. And it seems like when I'm in practice where the number doesn't matter, I perform better versus when I am being judged by a number. And I'm wanting to figure out how to make the transition to where basically eliminating the fact that a number matters and then just going out there and having it just come to me versus me trying to like force it.
I got a big chicken in my office.
Halloween's early, huh?
Yeah, Halloween came early.
All right, come on.
All right, you cuckoo, get out of here. All right. So this is a classic example of attaching yourself to an outcome. It's funny because I would practice so hard and work so hard, and during practice, man, I was a practice all-star. I had a kicker as well in college. He was probably the best. I used to call him practice kicker on earth. 65 yarders, 60 yarders, and then he'd get in the game, wide right, wide left. And that's because he attached his success to the outcome, meaning everything was on that game, instead of attaching your energy, focus, attention, and intention into what you're doing at practice. So if you're just clapping, you need to clap the exact same wherever you are. If I'm clapping backstage or on stage, my speeches have to be the same. I did been doing virtual speeches, obviously, and whether it's virtual or not, I have been practicing as if there's thousands of people there, and whether it's for kids, I treat it the exact same. So when I get an opportunity to step on a live stage like I did yesterday, the level difference was extraordinary. I didn't choke, right? I didn't get in my own way. It was the exact same. So I need you to detach all of that emotions from the outcome and just enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Make mind markers in practice. Utilize whatever mindset you have so that you're the exact same no matter what the outcome, what the audience, what the stakes are. They should be the same. And that itself, that mindset practice will help you more than anything, especially as you get close to that number that you really are capable of doing. Because what will happen is when you start doing this, pretty soon you'll be good up until you get to that number. And then you'll start fighting it again because all of a sudden that number means something. And you're like, oh, this works. And then the next step will be like, shit, I screwed up. I lost in the last inning. I lost on the last putt, because you're going to have to break through that perception. Once you get there, you're going to have to go ahead, anxiety curve and play within the learning zone. There's only one way. Your whole emotions are attached to the pursuit, not the outcome.
Okay. Because like the one thing I do notice is like the intensity level. Like when I'm in just practice and I'm, whether it's a practice round or just going out and playing, and it doesn't matter, the intensity level is just ho hum, like doesn't mean anything, and it just it's easy. It like, oh man, that was easy. Like did really well. But then as soon as it matters, it's like all of a sudden it's like my intensity level gets high, my heart rate gets high,
Yep.
and next thing you know, I get, like you said, I vibrate differently, and now I'm like getting my own way versus just ho humming it around.
Yeah, this is why I coach so many athletes, celebrities, and entertainers. Billionaires feel the same way. There's a different perception, and what we need to do is put a control on that mindset and perception that this putt, right? I'll use putting as an example. There's no difference between the 6 feet when you're practicing from where you putt to the hole than it is if there's $1 million on the line. It's physically nothing. It's all perception. And so you need to focus in on, as much as the athletic ability that you have, being able to maintain. So I want you to take mind markers of how you feel when you're relaxed, when there's no pressure, no intensity, and carry that over and remind yourself, hey, this is just like that. And put yourself how you feel mentally, spiritually, emotionally before. If you start getting anxious, the heart goes up, shaking, go ahead, breathe through the nose, out through the mouth, take 6 breaths, and make a mind marker from where you were, and try your best through breathing and mindset to get right back to that mind marker. Then take the shot. Put yourself back, even if you have to visualize yourself being, by yourself, whatever it is. But that breathing, that mind marker will be the first step, and I'll keep on helping you from there, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, man.
Thanks. Take care.
Keep all the good work. Remember Brad, you'll see him when he gets his breathing right. He's this close. He's this close. Just got to get out of his own way. Oh, early in the game, Bonnie on the inside. What's up?
This is the only one you haven't met.
Hi. My son came in a turkey outfit.
What's that?
Miles just came in a turkey Halloween costume.
I saw that. Yeah, I think Lexi's the only one you haven't seen so
What's
far.
her name?
No, my voice. Lexi. Alexandria.
Alexandria. All right.
Yeah, she goes by Lexi. Just lost the train of thought. Oh, okay. So last week we were talking about inspiration and motivation and how like I could stay motivated to do the things I didn't want to do and blah blah blah. And I had a couple of really profound experiences this week. Nothing like major, but what that kind of made me stop and just like go, wow. What? You want to say hi? Okay, real quick.
Hi.
Got a haircut.
I like your haircut. I like your shirt.
I like your haircut. I like your shirt. Okay. Anyways, go head back in the house. It's freezing out here. She's in a t-shirt. Okay, another thing. Anyways, dude. This is in my whole day. So anyways, and what was going on this week? Nothing bad, but it was some really interesting experiences that just realized that like my connection to source was less corroded than I felt like it had been for a while, which was fantastic. And I was like led to listen to Gabby Bernstein. I came across her listening to somebody else, and it was one of those where you like autoplay root, and I'm like, wow. And like I already kind of goosebumps because I'm familiar with her, but I never really listened to her. And she talks about a lot of the same stuff that you do. But the one concept that really caught my attention, she's talking about different types of people and how she's a pusher. And I identified myself in that. I'm always trying to push things to make them happen. Like if I wasn't making it happen, it wasn't going to happen. I know it's a control issue. Like I've been working on that kind of stuff for the past several years. The one thing that she started to talk about that I know, I either heard you mention or I talked to you briefly about was the idea of speeding up by slowing down. And I've been practicing a lot of stop, drop, and roll and, clearing my connection and whatnot lately. So I'm wondering what your take on, I feel like a lesson I've been learning over and over again is patience with myself, and that's why I was leading into this. What your take on that concept is, and an example maybe in your life that you've had where you've had, can you hear me?
Yep.
Where you had to kind of employ that for yourself.
So I caught the end. Employ which part for myself? You cut there.
The slowing down to speed up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I just literally got off it's called Life in the Fast Lane with Danica Patrick, and I said you're the exact example of slowing down to speed up, because where do we blend in ferocious, persistent, passionate, purposeful pursuit with allowance, right? With allowance. And when you understand the blend of, kind of like Brad, of detaching our emotions from an outcome and allowing things to happen by what? Only focusing in on the pursuit. It, it all stems from being able to detach from that out. The only thing that will speed up a process is detachment of emotions from the outcome. The minute you attach your emotions to an outcome, it creates resistance, it slows things down. So the way that we speed things up by slowing down is to detach ourselves from the expectation that it's going to happen and only attach the expectation on what we're doing in order to make it happen. And you got to, with great ferocity, with great speed, all of those things actually allow other people to think we're slowing down. But the concept itself is counterintuitive. You're actually still speeding up to speed things up, but you're speeding up the process and you're allowing or slowing down the expectation. Does that help you clarify it?
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry. I thought I was muted. I didn't realize he was yelling for everybody.
That's all right. Everybody loves you. We're all family in here. I can see the faces. Thank God my kids aren't on here.
He's trying so hard to be
I had a
patient.
rooster, for God's sake, come in. Who the hell cares? We're good. Thank you, my dear.
I just have one last question.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to listen back to that because I couldn't hear half of it.
All right.
What is the one question that nobody has ever asked you that you wish someone had asked you?
What am I most afraid of? So nobody ever asked me, what am I still most afraid of?
Okay, so what are you most afraid of?
Why I knew that's lucky. I'm still most afraid that I'm going to be like my dad. So, like I am most afraid that, understanding conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum, that I'm going to be the parts of my father that I don't want to be. There's obviously unbelievably great parts of my father, extremely intelligent, charismatic, but he had some huge demons, and every day I'm most afraid that it still even hurts my feelings sometimes. Joking around, as I get older, my wife will be like, "Oh my God, you're turning into your father," and I know she means it in a loving way, but like deep inside of me, I'm so afraid of that. I don't want to be like that, and the negative part of it. So that's what I'm most afraid of.
That's fair. I can see how I've done kind of something similar. Not yet. Done something similar with my own parents, and we talked about that, privately. So thank you for your
my dear. Go back and listen to it and say hi to the kids.
I will. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for allowing our kids to come on. And I should have told her I'm most afraid of chicken costumes. That would have been classic, but I'm not that quick. Anyway, who's next, Justin? Janine, we've got to unmute ourselves. How are you?
How's it going? Good. What about you?
Very good. Very good. What's going on from the car today?
So, since I last talked to you, we have, gotten some validation that people are looking for help with the customer problem fit in their startups. But we are going to continue to talk to users about this. We want to launch our MVP in 4 weeks from now. But we really need to be efficient with we have a ton scheduled this week. We have a lot of interviews, and I have some networking scheduled as well. So I'm just looking to talk to a ton of people, but how can I make the most out of those conversations? I will definitely ask what other skills they have. That was a big takeaway from last time. I hope you don't feel like I'm asking you the same question again. I feel like at least now it's a little bit more specific, but we really want to figure out how to get to the bottom of this need, or continue to validate it and create the MVP.
And the 4-week time constraint is put on there because
there's no real reason. I mean, we could push it out, but I mean, we just we want to get started. There's no exterior reason to need to do that.
Okay, so you've already started, and so the only thing I don't like about the plan of what you can do is when you put the limitation of time, a man-made construct, just like a limitation of money or age, onto things, it creates resistance and it creates stress for no reason, because there's no reason. What you should be focusing in on is doubling that community as fast as you can, getting to the better questions and the better content and the better help that you can provide. And so what I would do in order to speed things up so that you'll hit that mark of 4 weeks where you want to be is to start listing out certain questions that you think will evoke the stimulus of interest and transition of that interest in order to participate. So, I would start listing out different questions that you think create and stimulate interest in what you're trying to do, and allow you to figure out where that data is aligned with how you can be of service or of value to people, and then start effectuating how you can monetize your business of where the true need is by aggregating that data. Does that sound fair?
Yes. So asking, okay, this is interesting because on one hand, I do want to hear from people like without our bias as to what their true needs are, without a correct answer in mind. So I guess what I had in mind for how to do our interviews was to ask some of these bigger questions about what their biggest challenges are with their startup. And then, so you're saying at that point, like, for example, if we're helping people with customer feedback, like once we've gotten their own answers, we could ask specific questions around the solution and see what people are looking for.
Yeah, the basic structure I would use is, and everybody listen up because I use it in sales as well, but it's simply tell me what you're doing today. What do you like about that? What don't you like about that? And then utilize leading questions to align with synergistic or supplementary to certain capabilities that you feel that you want to know about or you feel that you can provide. So tell me, what are you doing today? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Would it help you if, would it help you if blank? Would it help you if boom? What would you like about that? Oh, what wouldn't you like about that? Where's the value that you see? What are the reasons you'd want to do that? What impact would it have? Tell me what capabilities you'd be looking for. Those are all closed-ended questions and open-ended questions that will give you much more effective data and allow you to hit your timeframes in a much more efficient way.
So you're saying just focus on doing this and not on the time frame, and just like let it be. If it doesn't happen in 4 weeks, then it just is what it is.
Exactly. Unless you can tell me a reason it has to be in 4 weeks, there's no reason to put that limitation on yourself. It could happen in 3 weeks.
That's a good point. We hadn't even considered, but you're right. We never would have like imagined that would be possible. I'm curious also, David, I meant to ask you if you think that your private sales group would be a good fit for me. I mean, you can tell I'm really early on.
Yeah.
So
The sales group, a lot of people, let me help everybody because so November, I'm going to launch a private sales group. You can upgrade into that group. You can do both groups. It will specifically be about sales. It'll be a lot of different people in sales asking sales specific questions on quotas, commissions, revenue, very sales specific questions. There will be some integration of obviously my philosophies and strategies with energy and spirituality, because a lot of that has to do with mindset and heart set and sales. So if you have any inkling, the good thing about it is if it's not for you, come back into this group, or everything I do is guaranteed. None of you people have any risk. Just please join me if you think it's something you want to do. Try it out. You can do it monthly. I do not care. I would love to have everyone try it out if you want to try it out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you're welcome to stay in this group as well or do both. Okay? No pressures. But I think if you have any inkling of thinking, come join us and see if you like it.
That's true. I mean, sales happens at all stages. Like even when we're asking about like what are your biggest challenges, it does hopefully evolve into a conversation about what you said, the synergistic and supplementary capabilities. Like once you know what they do and don't like, and you could suggest something, right? And then see what they think.
Yeah. And I can send you a document on that open and closed-ended questions formatting that I do. So if anybody wants that document, just email me. I'll send it to you. Okay.
Thank
Just
you.
make
Yes,
sure you
I
tell me
will.
yeah, let me know just make sure you put in there, hey, this is Janine from your private group. So I know that you're in my group, not, just somebody that's sending me an initial email. Okay.
So I'm not a market research competitor. I'm just kidding.
No, it's fine.
Abundance,
No
right?
Monday. I give everything away. It's fine. They can do what they want. I know what I know. I hope they can expand on what I know. That's my philosophy. All right. Thank you. I'll get to the next person, my dear. I'll see you soon.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. There he is. Thank you for your patience, Adam.
Excellent.
Are those Halloween decorations behind you?
No, I needed some background.
Oh, cool.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Excellent. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. First of all, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so well, the good news is that I'm all set with mindset and life plans and advancing confidently in the direction of my dreams. First of all, what was the name of your mentor again?
Which one? for what?
Well, this was like a week ago. You had mentioned on a live, IG live.
For my meditations, Dr. Sangeeta Sahi or Blaine Bartlett or
of course, you have many. Yeah.
Yeah. So I apologize. I didn't have many conversations. So, but I have multiple mentors, and will always, because my mentors are always someone that sits in the situation I want to be in, and specific to where I want to be, give me directions how to get there.
Excellent. So, yeah, mine was Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Oh, one of mine. Yes. So I read Power of Intention every day.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah. Look at that.
If you haven't read Power of Intention, you'll love it.
Yeah, so great. Yeah, he changed my life. So
me too.
Great. So I wanted to ask about I'm in the Boston area. If you remember, I'm looking for like connections or contacts for like ticket sales service companies, event planners, promo people, like entertainment venues, and I mean restaurant owners too. So I mean I realize we're in COVID right now, but like looking to plan things several months down the road, kind of like how you were at Thrive this weekend with Dan Fleischman.
Yeah.
And everybody. So I'm looking to plan similar events here in Boston, and so I don't know.
Let me hook you up with, obviously I think I talked about Ming Tsai on the restaurant owning side and event side, but also Clarity Experiences is who I use for all types of event around the world, especially in the Northeast as well. We just did a huge health event that actually was virtual and live as well, just like Thrive. So just email me and I'll make 3 introductions at a time. We'll keep following up and keep growing that business. Does that sound fair?
That's great. And so for my own notes, you said Ming Tsai.
Ming Tsai from the Blue Dragon.
Yeah. And then you said
Brian Lagusty from Clarity Experiences.
Okay.
And let me think of a third when you email me. I just want to be specific to Boston area.
Awesome. Okay, great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You got it, Adam. Thanks for joining me.
See ya.
Barry, from the sublime to the pragmatic, we're here to help everybody. So don't be afraid to ask. The other Brian, unmute yourself, my friend. Looking good. What's going on?
Good, man. Trying to figure out my question because I've recently just went through this very opening experience that I had yesterday. So last time we spoke, I asked about the anger, right? And you said it was very fear-based, so I needed to face my fears. So I've been doing a lot of, like internal work in terms of understanding the pain that's underneath that, right? Because whatever was unconscious is now being conscious. So when I just kind of connected everything, it came down to balance, right? Because I still want to be able to follow the path as I'm, going through my life daily, but I still want to be able to listen, right? And you are one of the few individuals that can very much tune in into what people are looking for, specifically as you're having this moment with me. So I want to know how to balance a sense of compassion and kindness while still having assertiveness as I'm coaching, like almost like a football coach, right? Like, how do you become the benevolent king when you know that some people won't be able to reach the levels that they want to, right? They won't be able to do what I've done. And what level am I teaching at? Like, am I teaching as I am being enough? Or do I need to keep going to get to a level where I can understand it metacognitively in theory and see it from that perspective? I don't know if I'm ready, I guess, if that makes sense.
You are a wise little Buddha. And I think you're asking how to be a good parent, which obviously any of you that are parents out there know that this is not an easy thing to do. Today, my soul is being polished by being a parent of a teenage daughter. And I think what helps, and there's no, if I had this wisdom, we all would be great. But I think, that balance of understanding where that person is. And there's this idea, right? I'm planting seeds under trees I may never sit under. So sometimes your acknowledgement, you are acquiring the knowledge of what frequency that person's at, because we can get very frustrated when we don't think we're getting the response or reaction that we want or the activity that we want. So a lot of people that deal with recovery have this exact same challenge, right? They know exactly how to help, but if the person isn't ready for that help, or the person can't hear you, it's not what you say, it's what they hear. If they're incapable of hearing you, you're not going to have any impact on them. All you can do is say that I'm planting a seed under a tree that I may never sit under, but you are planting a seed. The one thing that they can't stop is whatever variance or degree your thought that you're sharing with them is affecting their system, even in the smallest way. So it might just be, okay, it's another repetitive input and they haven't done anything, but somewhere that seed is lying in their subconscious now, because I've told them for 2 years the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it's lying there. It hasn't hit the epigenetic layer of the DNA, the quantum memory. It hasn't changed, shifted any personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, or addictions haven't changed.
Yeah.
I planted a seed, and something may happen that waters that seed. Some traumatic event or another teacher that speaks in a manner or frequency that they do hear, and then they won't know why, but it speaks to them.
Yeah.
It speaks to them, and you may not be the person to deliver it, but you are planting a seed. And I think, having that validation that from the degree of all I'm doing is planting a seed to, oh my gosh, I changed this person's life in the coaching world.
Mm-hmm.
And I get all of that rainbow, right?
Yeah.
I get it. And I know that that's the variance of the frequency and the strength of my signal and what I do. You need to take confidence in the same thing.
So just a follow-up question on that real quick. The listening part, what is it that I'm listening to? Because David Hawkins said that the field makes the ego do certain things to wake up the self. Like the self is always guiding the ego to be safe enough to do this crazy stuff. But what am I listening to? Like
How you feel. Listen to how you feel. Just listen to how you feel.
Okay.
You can't find outside of you what you're not seeing inside. So
I
if you
can't
can
see outside of me what I can't feel inside.
Yeah, what you can't see inside. You only can see outside of you what you feel and see inside of you. So you can. So if you ask yourself, that question, you're going to start getting some insight on the truth.
Yeah. Because like last night, like I did the whole who am I, right? And it woke up so much. And
Yeah. I still work with I am all the time. So very deep, man. This is a challenging group. We got your hardest question, and this is some existential, very deep thinking. Very good. I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate this, man. Thank you.
Of course. Thank
Bye.
you. Cool. All right. We got the wide spectrum. Who is next? There he is, my friend Joel. Welcome.
And before I get to sleep, it is like midnight here.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, sorry, I wanted to ask, Can you help me with the direction I want to go in? I know where I want to go, but I can't go through the forest myself and find my way out of it.
Well, you don't want to find your way out of it. You want to find
Or
your way
through the next bit.
through it. Yeah. So yes, I would use and institute those 5 daily practices if you're feeling stuck or a little bit lost. It starts with your values. It starts with finding someone that's where you want to be and asking, do you know anyone that can help me? Studying, I can't tell everyone here as much that, one of the biggest things that I do for a minimum of an hour and a half a day is I study. I'm very cognizant. I prioritize what I pay attention to. Usually I utilize my calendar as the main platform or construct of activity that is going to be productive, accessible, and gracious in my life that I got planned. Activity I don't have planned, empty space. And then, of course, sleep and utilizing an unwinding routine and doing it now and practicing ending fear. Those 5 things, if you're feeling any of you lost, utilize 5 daily practices, utilize doing something for someone else, let go of what you want and find out what somebody else wants. And usually that gets you to where you want. I don't know why that works. It might be coincidence. It might be the unification of the universe. But I have always found that if I lost my way, if I help someone else get to where they want to be, I end up where I want to be in emotional, in a spiritual, and in a pragmatic way. That all tides rise together, or elevating others elevates ourselves. But in a pragmatic sense, if you're not sure where you want to go help someone else go where they want to go, and you'll end up where you want to be. Does that sound fair?
Yes. Did I send you what I've so far done? Because even if I think I've muddled myself now.
I love it.
You muddled my brain.
Absolutely. Now you can go to bed.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thanks. Enjoy. All righty. All right. There she is, Superwoman. Gemma, how are you?
How are you? Well, first I have some good news. I just wanted to
More
share.
good news.
So, the distributor of Gucci and Kylie Skin, they ordered some gifts us. Like that's all I wanted to share. And
Oh, congratulations. It's the start of something great. They'll keep doubling and doubling. Those are some unbelievable brands. How cool is that?
It's amazing. And I listened to you because you told me about my slogan, happiness delivered to your door. So I had it printed like that was my flyer. And so my question is, so I always follow my gut personally, but in business, should I do the same thing?
Yeah, so trust the gut and vet. Because we live in this vibration. It's the same thing with people that I do business with. I trust everyone, then I vet it. So trust is a higher vibration and it fits into a faithful, high frequency.
Mhm.
So trust your intuition, but vet it. Vet it if it's applicable according to this time and your risk tolerance. Put it back into the pragmatic realm. So utilize everybody out there, the trust and vet mechanism, especially when you have intuitions about people.
Mhm.
Right? Sometimes we misread things because of the way we feel in the state of mind we're in. And if we end up vetting people, the vetting process is extremely important to adhere and align to the trust, the intuition that we have. We live in both realms. We live as one. So we're all connected, and that's where you feel bad for someone and you do things that aren't rational and you kick yourself later that you gave them or trusted them, or you fell for the it's too good to be old true thing, or you let someone borrow money and you knew not to let them borrow money. But if you trust your intuition and you vet it, you'll be fine. You vet it with pragmatic practices according to your values. Trust and vet your intuition at all times.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
I'm delivering happiness back at you. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Gemma. Congrats. Oh boy, that always makes my day. Unbelievable. Those are some big brands. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, how are you?
Phenomenal.
I just wanted to ask you a quick question. With the change of our economy and the way we purchase products, do you feel that we're going more from or transitioning or redirecting from a demographic format to a psychographic, and that we should probably try to change our campaigns because of that?
I think there's a blend, right? I think that the psyche itself is blended with a certain demographic. So and I think if you look at the audiences of the platforms that people go on, I used the example last week that I had my best performing little short video that was on TikTok and Reel. Reel is the Instagram short video that's like TikTok. And the interesting thing was when it was on TikTok, people didn't understand it. And so there's a lot of, this is the dumbest thing, because it was about perceived value, not real value, but perceive. I said that, money doesn't disappear as you may perceive it with perceived value. Real value sticks. And so there's real value to something. And on TikTok, I was a moron, and on Reel, I was a genius, and I got more followings from both for two different reasons. And I think that's an exact example of demographic and psychoanalysis of each of the demographics. That here we have a certain demographic that are very similar, but a different perception. And if you can blend those two and say, the spectrum that I'm trying to reach within 17 to 18-year-old males or whatever, that's, I think, an additional component or variance, but not just the only thing we should look at.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Also, one other thing, I'm still working on your center, trying to get centered right away. Working on that muscle to something happens, like your linoleum floor. Was it linoleum or wood? I mean,
luxury vinyl. Luxury
vinyl. And so going back to center right away. So just like not letting things bother me as much and trying to detach from my emotions. So, and just not to be so emotional, because I get so emotional so quickly. But so thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And the blade of grass, and I know I'm still going through that, and I know I'll get there. So thank you once again, David. But I was just wondering about the balance between the demographic and psychographic, because I think it's important, because I think a lot of things are being more emotional, or maybe just because I'm very emotional. But I just feel that having like a emotional based campaign, I think will go far.
The credibility goes to demographic, and the emotional attachment goes to psycho. So use the blend of both. So be credible within the demographic, and then use the psychographic in order to effectuate an emotional attachment. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Good day.
Got it. All right. Now's my favorite name for a dog. Steve, come on in. I always wanted to have a pug named Steve. Oh, where'd he go? There he goes. All right. Good evening, my friend. How are you?
Having a few connection challenges tonight.
I hear you.
Hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Just working on the last time was the being worthy and believing I'm worthy. That was my homework. I've been working on that, doing good, I believe. And now, what's next?
Yeah, well, number one, continue on that, and then quantify. So, for me, I'm continually on major practices of ending fear, major practice of refocus, major practice. But the next step is to take it down to a more pragmatic way of creating disciplines and strategies, or quantifying that worthiness, or whatever the philosophical or spiritual or emotional progress or practice that we're under. I always like to take it down and transfer it into something quantifiable, something pragmatic. And so that's either time, value of some sort of resource of an asset that can be quantified as well. And so try your best for the homework this week to transcode these feelings, these energies that are creating more abundance and attracting more to you and more coincidences. Now let's transcode it or transform it and try to pick one or two quantifiable things that we can look at and start to measure, so that we can improve upon those, not attaching to the quantification, but just using it as a measurement, as a milestone, not as an outcome. All right.
What kind of example would that be?
Let me give you, it's a good question. So a good example would be that I'm trying to ask more people, right? I'm trying to use this ask. I'm trying to shift my energy that I'm not ego based, that I'm humble enough to ask for help. And so what I started to do was I look at my sent box in my emails and I count every night how many people I asked. Do you know anyone that can help me? I'm looking for people to come to my free training, or I'm looking for kids to join my community center or something else. But quantifiably, I'm looking to see that practice in place of feeling worthy enough to ask for help, that I'm not separate from or inferior or superior, that I actually am comfortable receiving to give. And that's a quantifiable measurement. I'm not attached to the outcome that I got to get 100 people every day in my email that I ask. It's just I'm quantifying how many people in practice I actually am.
That makes sense.
It better.
You think getting past that?
Well, perfect, my friend. So we'll figure out that quantification. Everyone, thank you. Let's thank you, Steve. Cool. Thank you, Justin. What time is it tomorrow?
It's 10 past midday on
midday. I had midnight before.
It's Tuesday.
Lunchtime. Let's do everything by meals, Jackie. It's lunchtime.
Yeah, it's lunchtime.
And you're in New Zealand. You're in New Zealand, not Australia. I blew that last.
I know that's right. That's right. I'm even further south. Yeah, that's right. Look, I've been following everyone. My emotions have been going up and down and up and down. I was in tears earlier because you said I can't get what I can't feel inside, I can't get outside. And I've been following you since, or trying to connect with you since you said about your 50 parties. And remember, I sent you some music? Yeah. Well, what if the ticket price for all of those people there went to Unstoppable? That's my big dream. And I don't know how to ask you to help me to start, because I know I've got all the people that I know that I can ask, but I don't know how to ask them, because I've been thinking this since like 2015. Yeah. And I keep putting it off because I don't have the courage. Then I'm not good enough. Then I go,
here's what we do.
oh my
Let me
God,
help.
here.
It's very
So-
easy. There's a saying: crawl before you walk, before you run.
Yeah.
So I put on, the guys, Justin is in Mike area here. I started with these tiny little things, and I had big dreams, but I got started. I lowered the bar and I said, you know what? I'm going to speak in front of 2 people. I'm going to have a breakfast meeting. I'm going to do this and they were all for charity, always for charity, for Unstoppable. And, that's what I want you to do. No more thinking about the big picture. Let's fix something really small. Let's do it for Unstoppable, and let's get started. And then those 2 people are going to invite 4 people to the next one, and those 4 people, 8 people. If we would have started in 2015, if just doubling from 2, it would be what, 5? So 2, 4, 8, 16. We've on 32 people, and next year we'd have an event with 64 people.
Oh, and it would be lovely lily pond by that time.
And look, if everybody on average gave $100, it'd be $6,400. It'd be $1,000 on average. It'd be $64,000. It'd be $10,000 on average for those 64. It'd be $640,000. We could raise a bunch of money, but the next year it's 128. And guess what? 20 years from 2015 and 2035, we'd have 2 million people inviting 2 million people. So let's get started. Let's get at least 2 people at our first deal. You've already asked me. I told you I'd help you. We'll get at least 2 people. I bet we can get more, but let's lower the bar and get started. Let's crawl before you walk, before you run. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I know you keep telling me and I keep saying, yes, I'm going to do it. And then I go, oh my God, I lose my courage again. But thank you.
If I can get you to do this, then I can get my 16-year-old to clean her room, because she's been telling me every week she's going to clean her room as well. So I get it.
If you get her to do that, you can get my partner to clean her room as well. He leaves everything behind him.
Exactly. I was thinking about using that in the pitch competition. I was going to judge myself how to pitch a 16-year-old to clean her room. Her greatest trick now is I do her laundry, and then I put it on her floor, and then I see the same stuff the next week in the laundry. She basically is not wearing it and recycling it so she doesn't have to put it away. These 16-year-olds are tough. All right, I know everyone's in a hurry, so thank you. I love you, dear. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank
Take
you, my
care.
dear. I love you.
Bye-bye. All right, we're gonna do that first event with 2 people. Hey, Austin, thanks for your so Austin is on how many days have you community me?
Quite a few.
300?
Something like that. Yeah, I've jumped on from the beginning, I think, or one of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah, every day he says thank you to me for over 300 days, maybe 370. I don't even know.
No.
But it's
someone
under.
else. Someone else.
Yeah. We'll get it. Oh, it's other Austin Price.
Other Austin.
Price. Anyway, Austin
Yeah.
Bird. Well, welcome anyway. I appreciate any gratitude you send my way, though. So thank you.
Of course. I was following up. I shot you an email last week. The timing was off. I was on the bus. You said, hey, it's a great question. Bring it to the group. Essentially, it was a question about sponsorship decks. I'm in a new position. One of the things we're going to be doing is a lot of different events, and we have a great emotional reasons, trying to figure out the logical reasons. But through reading your book, all of the trainings and everything else, I think I already know what you're going to tell me, which is going to be open-ended questions, be more interested than interesting, figuring out what they're actually like and don't like, and then being able to build it out specifically for them ultimately. The other question I had was finding the final decision makers, which I think is going to be just being able to put out your vision and then ask everyone for help and really qualifying it. And then at the same time, kind of doing your homework, so to speak, to looking to see what other organizations they've already sponsored and then finding out who the point of contact is there. Sorry, I kind of jumped, but I know we're later on time. Wanted to be respectful.
No, that's okay. I think my thing is delayed. Can you hear me okay? I know my video is delayed. Justin, can you hear me okay? Okay. So I apologize about the video, but what I would do is shift your paradigm, no gatekeepers. Everybody is a sponsor and a power sponsor. Everybody is a sponsor and a power sponsor. So when you take that perspective, that's everybody's a sponsor and a power sponsor, what will happen is you'll get to the decision makers. Because when I come upon anyone in person, on the phone, via email, media, radio, print, TV, social media, and I know inherently in my energy and attitude and perspective that they're there to help me, I can ask them, hey, do you know anyone that can help me? They're the ones that are going to either be able to help me themselves or find someone to help me, increasing the statistical success in all phases of a sale. More people that you can stimulate interest to, more people you transition interest to, more people you share a vision of, and most importantly, more people that you then can manage and develop that vision to then thrive, where they're getting you more and more people, more and more sponsors, more and more power sponsors. So I think one quick piece of advice for all the things you asked, you need to change your mindset that everybody is here to help you. Everybody listening that's left on here, I know we dropped off quite a few at the end, but think about what would your world look like if you came upon everybody in person on when you sent an email, when you made a phone call, when you posted a video. What if you had the mindset that everybody's here to help you? That's what I want you to do, because guess what? Whether you think they are or they aren't, either way, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I train salespeople to think of everyone as a sponsor and power sponsor. Everybody's here to help you. I'm here to help you. This group's here to help you. And anyone that you meet is here to help you. And if you have that mindset, they can't think any other way. You're the one who creates the illusion, the interference, the corrosion, the voids, the shortages between you and everything else you're connected to. I'm telling you, Austin, you will double your number when you practice thinking, gosh, this guy's here for me, not against me. Okay?
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Thank you, my friend. Take care. All right. Last one is my computer's down to 4%. So I either going to have to leave and go charge. We got Famous Max. What's going on, buddy?
Everything's good. Good evening. I'll go quick. Yeah, real simply, wanted to update you. You gave me some great closing advice last week, and we closed a couple of deals today, which is awesome news. Ultimately, my question, though, today related to public speaking efforts of mine. I've made some great progress over the last 6-8 months on the public speaking front. I've done like 10 free virtual talks. I've had the opportunity to build and create some really awesome looking sales collateral, marketing collateral, video promo videos to help me sell myself as a public speaker. Right now, though, I'm still trying to land my first paid speaking gig. Ultimately on my end, I've got like an awesome workshop that I know people love. I also think that I can be doing that in more of a corporate setting, this type of workshop as like a learning and development type of training. But I also think I have an opportunity in the, conferences, event space. And so I just wanted to kind of get your, bare bones advice in terms of trying to build an actual income stream in the public speaking world, given, what you know and about me and what I've just shared.
So one great thing about speaking for free, which I have done when I started, is that you can't go any lower. And so the best thing you can do is pick a price and start asking for it. And you can still get paid the exact same you're getting paid today. It used to be my joke until this year. I always wanted to play second base for the San Diego Padres. And my argument was, hey, you can't do any worse. You get last place every year. You'll still, if I'm playing for you, I'll give you $2 million a year to play that position. You can save $2 million from paying that kid. You're going to end up in the same place as you get every year with me. Let's just go for it and save $4 million. Same thing's true with your speaking career. I suggest you start at 2,500. And when you ask, let people go, I'm $2,500, and just stay quiet, and then let them say, well, we can't afford it, or whatever they say. And you can't do any worse than you're doing now economically. And in the end, you still have just only raised value of what they perceive that you are coming to do. Instead of getting a guy who speaks for free, they're getting a person who speaks for $2,500, and they've just made $2,500 of value. And then when you start getting money, then raise it to 5,000, and then 10,000, and then 25,000, and then 50,000, right? And I don't do range pricing. I'm $50,000. Do I get $50,000 every speech? Nope. Have I gotten $50,000? Yep. Have I gotten 100? Yep. I don't know why. If I publicize 50, someone's going to give me 100, but I do it, and I did it. So, but I started the same way as you. I spoke 100 times, Max, 100 times for a year. Every place I went, I called to the chambers of commerce, to the high schools, to the college, to the graduate schools. I said, hey, I'm Dave Meltzer, and I started at 2,500. I raised it to 5,000. I got free golf. I got spa. I got hotel rooms. I got a little bit of cash sometimes. People bought my books. All kinds of things happened. And best of all, I got really good at speaking. Best of all, I built a whole audience of people that wanted to learn from me, that said, hey, you're really good. And then over now, 7 years of speaking, people have grown and say, hey, have you ever heard Dave Meltzer? He's amazing. That is from doing it for free. So give yourself a price. Don't be afraid to ask for it. You can always get the exact same you're getting now. So it's a really good feeling. So your $2,500, put it on your website, put it on your marketing kit, your media kit. You're 25. Anybody asks me how much Max is to speak, I'm telling them 2,500.
I love it. I'm so with it. And before your computer dies, thanks so much. Great seeing you and speaking.
Thank you, everyone. Please email me if you need me. Like I said, go ahead if you want to join the sales side too. More than happy to choose between the two. Do both, whatever you want. I'm available. I love you all. You can email me. Come to training on Friday. It's a public training session. You'll learn a lot. And try out for the pitch competition. I want all of you to pitch me something. Get on TV. You'll have fun. Thank you. Take care.